deal yao haikuenda venye walikuwa nataka. That is what the argument that we are arguing. Is this the deal that didn't go through, or they have just decided to leave the church? So maybe if I'm picking a few people who, if you can join me and we'll try to discuss on this. Again, we were like still asking ourselves about the birds that went to the state house. Are they God sent, or they are from witchcraft? Because I was like going through what happened during the time of Moses, and God used different symbols to communicate his feelings. When he wanted to release the children of Israel, he used different symbols. And most of the time, our God is so practical. He is so practical. He does things in a way that he wants you to understand. And Jesus, in his preaching, he preached nothing but in parables, because he wanted people to think for themselves. Our church allowing us to think for ourselves? The church that we are going, are we able to think for ourselves, or everything is like the pastors, the whatevers, they think for us? This is something that I realize, that people are not given that opportunity to think for themselves. Everything is decided for them. People don't read their Bible. Whatever they are told, they take it as gospel truth. And most of the time, it's when they have been misread. So I don't know really where the church lost its control, or where these people took control of, like everybody in the church, even the PhD holders who are in the church, they are just all confused. Where did we lose control of the church? From where did we lose the control of the church? If maybe you could join me, we try to discuss. Like I think Enoch, he's really taken us through. He's so knowledgeable. He has a lot of information. If you are here when he was like discussing this thing, he's somebody who is so informed. And these are the people we want. We want people to come from darkness. We want to enlighten people. We want to empower people, because we want to have a healthy church. And when we have a healthy church, we are going to have a healthy nation. We are having a very weak nation because people are made very weak. They were made very weak. They cannot think for themselves. They have to have someone who is thinking for them. Now this is the time that we are trying to revive the church, a true church, a God-fearing church that is going to come up, who is going to birth strong people who can think for themselves, who can lead the world for themselves, who can be able to discern and to make a choice. Because those are the people that we are lacking in today's church. These are the people we are lacking. You know, by the way, I saw one of the member. He's very, 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 very common in TikTok, and she's been talking about their bishop, insane people. I don't know what. Yesterday, I saw her saying that if she's going to be an usher in that church, she has to be paid. I was like, oh my good God! Now it's like everybody wants to be paid because there is money in the church. She said yesterday, she's a very common person here. She said that she also need she can't be going to church and spend all those hours standing there being an usher, and she's not being paid. She's now demanding for a pay. Are we really still okay in the church? Is the church healthy? Are we having a healthy church? If now, like everybody is saying that now I have to be paid, I need to be paid. If I'll have to serve in the church, they have to give me a salary. Are we really still in order? Is the church really still functioning? Do we have a healthy church? You know, it's like we were like brainwashed about our church, and we forgot the main agenda. what had taken us to the church, not knowing that we go to the church and after the service, you go home. So we like took all our brain and brought it in the church. We stopped thinking and we allowed other people to be thinking for us. And that's why we got messed up. Not even seeing what is happening, that one person we call a pastor, he comes to you when he is so poor, but within 2 years, that person is driving a Mercedes Benz and nobody can question. And if you happen to question, you are next to outside. That is how confused the country is. Now when we see the country messed up and we are like asking what is happening to the church, what is all this? We don't know what has affected the church. Why? Because we are like a sleeping giant. That is what I call a sleeping giant. A giant that is asleep. It's not thinking. It is not functioning. A sleeping giant. That is now what we have at the moment. A sleeping giant or a sleeping dog. And it is in the Bible. I'm not calling anybody a dog. I'm not calling anybody a giant. We had a giant who was Goliath. Goliath was intimidating everybody. He was intimidating everybody. He called David a dog. He said, "You're coming to me with is this a sling and some stone? You think I'm a dog?" And they do not know like that. Even the situation in Kenya, it doesn't need a giant. It just needs a righteous person, a person who is thinking soberly, a person who is focused to God, and a person who will bring this giant down and revive the country of Kenya. Remember, the revival, the prophecy is still there and still very active, that Kenya is the springboard of revival. And the devil having had that prophecy, he has been working day and night to make sure that Kenya will not become the springboard of revival. And if only our pastors, all the leaders of the church could understand what these people, the people we have been given revelation, are talking about, they could not be saying that the church is being insulted. Because I think they are the ones who have lost focus.